Cleaning up Kyle Larson's mess.
That pit window, 30 to 40 laps. Let's throw it back to the Motor Racing Network.
Everybody is doing that. And Denny Hamlin just nearly gets clipped by Ryan Blaney. Nearly slides through his pit box again. He does make it in. Here's what's happening on this. There is rain in the area. Right now, fueling it up means they can go as far as they can. They cannot go to the end of this stage, but they could go to past halfway. So every team right now, topping it off, or most teams right now, topping it off with fuel and making sure they can go as far as they can should a rainstorm pop up right after lap number 94. Kim Kuhn?
Yeah, same at my end of pit road. Pretty much everybody coming in to top off on that strategy you just mentioned. Michael McDowell, Justin Haley, Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Ross Chastain, Bubba Wallace. Again, making stops for fuel only. Hannah Newhouse.
Flash it goes on my end of pit road as well, including with Chase Elliott. We had first flash it go. Joey Logano, though, has a tire vibration, a wheel out of balance. They don't think it's anything
really scary, seeing just how much you could have been saving by switching to Geico. Visit geico.com and see if saving money is in your future. Happy Geico-ween.
You know, as we look at the radar, one of these little tiny cells has just clipped us here at this giant, massive Talladega Super Speedway, and understanding now that they feel like there is just a little bit of precipitation.
It has stopped completely here in Jersey.
Hence the good news, and the fans are finally giving a fist bump to Dave Moody. They are going to keep the race cars on the racetrack, which is certainly the best of all. Woo! Kip Childress, the pace car driver, is currently the race leader.
Now, up the
they're throwing a red flag because of rain and
well,
turn,
it's
what,
kind
1 and 2?
Speckled, if you know what I mean. Most of the track is that light gray, perfectly dry. There are spots here and there
Cars
where
are all
it's
down
a little
pit road.
bit wet. The good news is it's warm enough that I think those may dry up by themselves. If they don't, it won't be more than maybe a quick pass with the direct dryers or the Toyota track drying team to get things back to 100%.
Well, we'll wait and see just how long this takes. It shouldn't take all that long. There is a lot of heat out there in the racetrack, as Dave was pointing out. So drivers have elected, some have anyway, elected to climb out of their race cars and just kind of walk around. Can't touch the cars, can't do much with them, but just stand there and look at them. And drivers right now are getting out of the race car while the Toyota Tundra track drying team takes to turns 1 and 2. As a reminder, MRN's Kirsten Road dates are brought to you by Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief.
This is the most awesome thing I've ever done.
Blue Emu products support healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
Well, just about everybody came back down pit road for that splash of
you
fuel
call me a wuss.
Postman and Kim and Hannah were talking about. Everybody, with the exception of Cody Ware, who last pitted on lap 70. Everybody else on track. A 25-year-old driver out of Greensboro, North Carolina. So Cody will be shown as the race leader. Then it's Logano, Keselowski, Buescher, and Blaney, top 5. Christopher Bell, Harvick, Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, and Joey Gase show up now as your top 10. Logano has been a dominant.
Okay, so they're still under red flag. I'm walking around. Fix to get a closer view of everything.
Doing the handshakes and so forth. And I've known Brian for a very, very long time. He's a really, really good guy. Quick example. I have a friend, my sister-in-law works for Sunoco. And time. He shakes a lot of hands. He's just a wonderful guy, and I'm proud that he is our track president, being the local.
Really great to see him just a few moments ago. He wanted to come by and stop by and say hello, so great to see him here in the public address booth. The engines are getting ready to be fired there on pit road. We are getting ready to go back to racing here in stage number 2 in the Yellowwood 500 for the NASCAR Cup Series. Cars go back out onto the racetrack. Again, working our third caution of the afternoon here at Talladega. Lap 73 on the board.
Oh, there's something heated head in the asphalt already.
Okay, engines are fired. I'm headed back to my seat now. So far, this has been the best thing I've ever done. It's just an awesome race experience.
Now, Bill Price Jr. was a marketing genius, so he may have put a little salt and pepper on that, but having had one opportunity to interview him, and it was right here at this track, I believe.
Now, one other thing that Bill Price had in mind was when he was designing this racetrack, he designed the start-finish line instead of being in the middle of the triangle, all the way down towards turn number 1. And the reason behind that was because he knew that people were going to buy tickets in the middle of the triangle, but he wanted people to buy tickets going down towards turn number 1. He also has set up some really fantastic finishes over the years.
Indeed it does, and it also creates a lot of talk and a lot of conjecture as to why he did it that way. Again, I think he's accurate, you're accurate in retelling the story, but it does make for good discussions when you're down there standing around.
We're in a rain delay, my wife says right now.
Yeah.
A couple of cars now beginning to roll, or a couple of cars that say have not rolled on the pit road. One of them is Anthony Alfredo. Austin Field was another driver that was having difficulty firing that Chevrolet Camaro back up. He has, and now Anthony Alfredo, one of the rookie drivers, contending for the Sunoco Rookie of the Year honors this year, being pushed down pit road. Not quite the bump drift that you want to see here at Talladega, but nonetheless, Anthony Alfredo will fire up that Ford Mustang and is now rolling on the racetrack.
Again, we're on lap 74, going back to green here very shortly, and it's Cody Ware is on the point here. And you mentioned just a minute ago, didn't he get gas on 70? Everybody else got it on 73.
Drivers can go a little bit beyond that, some drivers a little bit below that. So that's kind of a rough estimate, but that's still somewhere within the range of what these drivers are going to be running this afternoon. Some drivers can go 42 laps, maybe a little bit further than that. So it really just kind of depends on the setup of some of these teams and where they are as far as
racetrack, Kyle Rickey, that is shuffled up the way we're going to put him back under the green flag.
Have some new names at the front of the field when we do go back under the green flag. You mentioned
they're coming around for another pace lap.
He'll lead the field to the inside of the racetrack. Corey LaJoy topside, and then the next
Wow.
Corey LaJoy nose to nose as they hit the 33-degree banking in turn number 1. Haley's got drafting help down low from Joey Logano. LaJoy's got help upside from Ryan Blaney.
Side-by-side they race to the Alabama gang. Super stretch. Inside line needs a little more drafting help. Here's a three-wide line busting loose. Eric Almirola first to jump to the outside of the racetrack. He'll have some drafting help from Denny Hamlin. That's going on for about the 20.
Justin Haley, that is Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski. Tyler Reddick to the inside of the first car and the outside.
In the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Looking on Brad Keselowski, but another continuing to maintain the top spot by advantage, and he's going to lead across the line. Kevin Harvick now to second. Denny Hamlin goes to third as Buscher begins to fade.
Right in the outside lane, he will go to the number 4 spot.
Out of the top 10, in fact, led by Chris Buscher and Joey Logano. The outside lane, or where all the numbers are, led by Christopher Bell and Kevin Harvick as they come off turn 4.
Down the pit lane and back on the track. He was under the 6-minute damage vehicle policy clock. Well, he did hit the last couple of laps. Now here comes the outside. Denny Hamlin has got his mirror full with Eric Jones, who's pounding away at the back bumper, but here comes the outside lane once again, being led by Christopher Bell and Kevin Harvick, two of the drivers in the playoffs, trying to push each other to the front of the pack.
Talladega racing. You're 2x2, what is that, 10, 12 deep?
And then here comes Chase Briscoe.
Cars towards the tail end of the lead lap. In fact, we now have...
Are they coming back around again?
Drivers that are on the lead lap. Briscoe is a lap down. Davison's a lap down. Unfortunately, Kyle Larson is 3 down. And Justin right now pushing him to the center. A great show at the front. Playoff drivers along with Kevin Harvick, Christopher Bell, and Denny Hamlin on the inside of the racetrack. All the playoff drivers, though, right now, Matt, running very well inside of the top 10. You've got a couple of drivers like Martin Truex and Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, William Byron, and Ryan Blaney, who have fallen outside of the top 10 right now, but everyone's just kind of being very nice and easy, just taking their time trying to stay out of trouble. And not to talk on the negative side here, but I see a line of rain coming at us from the turn 2 side. 4 laps are making this thing official, and the leaders come out of 3 and into 4 and shortening to the trial.
And that's why they're racing so hard at the front of the pack, still double wide, about 7.
Alex Bowman getting on the back bumper of Kevin Harvick and shoving him to the lead. Not just to the lead, but the
Christopher Bell all by himself at the front of the field. A couple of car lights back in the Harvick, that leaves the Toyotas by themselves on the Hamlin, a couple of car lights back to Eric Jones in third. Then that side-by-side.
If they stayed that way, which they can't, they could literally drive away from the field.
Yeah, if only they could, but it got them out to a quick 5-car length advantage, but now the pack is going to gobble them up. Here comes Harvick up onto the back bumper of Denny Hamlin. Here comes Bowman charging the second group.
Harvick brake got dislodged from Bell's back bumper, and he fell into the front bumper of Harvick. Harvick tried to shove him. Hamlin has nowhere to go. Hamlin back on the hammer and back to the back bumper of Bell.
Who continues to show the way by a couple car lengths now as those two break away from the rest of the field that's stacked up side by side. Kevin Talladega Super Speedway. Christopher Bell, the leader.
Chastain is collected. A couple of other cars go around. They were racing at the front of the pack, and Alex Bowman looks like got turned around.
Your driver got turned around. There's a major tag.
The chain reaction crash took a while, but it has come on.
Looping his way off of turn number 4 to the pit lane. And it looks like one other car coming by me now. That is Quinn Houff. You mentioned Kyle Busch. A lot of right side damage. All of these cars making their way slowly back to the pit lane.
In the game super stretch, Alex Bowman was in the outside lane. He got the draft, and the closing rate with the field was enormous. The push came from Chase Elliott on the back bumper of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and it literally drove right through the trunk of Alex Bowman and triggered this big crash out there.
Mike Bagley, we talk about high-speed bumper cars, and realistically, that's what we just saw there. I think Alex just pointed the picture out perfectly with the fact that Stenhouse had a big run coming, courtesy of Kyle Busch.